Now, the fast food era of hip-hop, when you hear me say that and when you look at the title of this video, what's the first thing that pops up in your mind? A couple of things you might think about are, number one, a lot of rap music we're hearing nowadays doesn't have too much meaning. Number two, rappers simply release too much music nowadays. And number three, there's a lack of quality rap albums being released nowadays. Now, all those points are kind of true, but they definitely need to be further elaborated on. So yeah, let's talk about it. This video is inspired by something Dr. Dre said the other day. I put up this tweet on Twitter kind of giving my little 2 cents on what Dr. Dre said. So if you follow me over there, you already have a little bit of insight into what I'm going to talk about. But Dr. Dre did this interview the other day where he had a couple comments regarding the state of hip hop. I think this is going to spark up a lot of conversations, and honestly, I had to talk about this because I do have a couple things to say about it. So let's check out what he said.
Right now it feels like it's a little more quantity over quality. Made a song last night, I need to put it out tomorrow.
Pretty self-explanatory. He also ended up saying this as well.
What are you going to dedicate yourself to? The art or the money? You know, it's that simple.
Also want to show you something Jimmy Iovine, who was sitting alongside Dre during this interview, said regarding this.
Give yourself the time, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, a year, to make something that's going to last forever.
Now, obviously, this is an important and extremely relevant conversation to hip-hop in 2019. Hip-hop and rap right now is in this so-called fast food era. It's very much in full effect as we speak. I'm talking about those long, dragged-out 20-plus songs on a project just for the sole purpose of getting streams. That's something a lot of rappers are doing right now. I'm talking about the crazy amount of overload and quantity from rappers that we're currently getting. I'm talking about rappers being afraid to take a step back and take their time with their albums because they're afraid of being forgotten. That, of course, leads to a bunch of music getting released, but the music being forgotten after a week because it was nothing but average. I'm talking about the fact that anyone can become a successful rapper nowadays, which if you ask me is mainly a good thing. Let me explain what I mean. The fact that anyone can find success in hip-hop right now is a very good thing. Now, you might not think it is because all you see is a bunch of young rappers blowing up who don't have any kind of artistic vision behind their music, and like Dr. Dre said, there's a whole lot of quantity in rap but not so much quality, which yeah, that's true. That's the main negative of this whole thing. But then again, don't forget that this puts the power in the hands of the artist. Yes, if we're talking on a mainstream level, the kind of rap music that's getting spun on the radio is 99% of the time gonna be on some bullshit. But the amount of good, amazing, talented, unique, and real rappers that are gonna come out on the other side and that are gonna have some kind of career in this genre is what we need to focus on, because that's the most important thing. We may be in the fast food era of hip-hop right now, but that doesn't deflect or take anything away from the good that's being done by other rappers. Let's talk about long rap albums for a second. You know, if I'm gonna be blunt for a second, I absolutely hate this whole wave of rappers releasing extremely long albums just so they can rack up the streams quickly. Because if you don't know, that's exactly why so many rappers are filling their albums with so many songs. It not only racks up the streams for their projects quicker, but they also get a bigger bang for their buck in terms of monetary gain. They record a whole bunch of music in the studio over the span of a couple weeks. Actually, I take that back. Let me definitely take that back. We're actually not talking about a couple weeks. At best, sometimes we're talking about a couple days. Now, why do I say that? Well, because we got people like the Migos who didn't spend no more than 20 minutes on every song from their Culture 2 album. And if they really wanted to take their time with a song, they didn't spend no more than 45 or 40 minutes on it. Obviously, Culture 2 was not good, so let's not even say that this came as a surprise. And also, let's not pretend like they can make a good album though, because if you listen to the original Culture, the first one, then I think we all can agree on the fact that it bangs, okay? It was extremely hard and extremely good. I say that to say, what's really changed here? I really don't have an insight into their creative process apart from that little piece of information that they spent like 20 minutes on each song from the album. But let's transition this conversation to the bigger picture in hip-hop right now, and I want to say this. The fact that anyone can find success in hip-hop right now does one extremely bad thing for the genre. It attracts a whole bunch of people to hip-hop who don't really care about bringing anything to this culture except for, you know, filling their own pockets. They don't really care about releasing anything that's gonna last or is even remotely great, because a lot of rappers are simply not in it for the long term. They're in it to make as much money as they possibly can in the shortest amount of time possible. That's why so many of these guys are saturating the industry with a whole bunch of music that not only sounds the same as everyone else's, but there's no kind of contrast between the album they released last month and the one they're gonna release in 2 months. A lot of the rap music that we're hearing in the mainstream today just blends in together because everyone is afraid of taking their time with the music because they don't want to be left behind and quote unquote forgotten. And you gotta think about it like this. Coming up with something new and introducing a new sound, that's actually a very big big risk, because let me say this, why not replicate the most popular sound and add a little bit of spice to it? Not too much, because you don't want people to get turned off. You want your song to have that familiarity aspect to it and remind the listener of that new wave type of sound that's popping in rap right now. This is an important factor. At the end of the day, all you really want is people to bob their head to the beat, and that's about it. You don't want them to analyze the music too deeply, because that kind of takes the fun out of it. As an example, to make this point clear, imagine if you were hosting a party right now and you were the DJ for the night. What would you, the DJ, what would you play at that party? I can tell you this for sure, it ain't gonna be some rap music that's gonna make people contemplate on life, best believe that. You're gonna turn on something that's gonna make people move and have fun and not think about life. I want you to think about it like this. Hip-hop in 2019 is that party that I'm talking about, and the radio stations are the DJs. The DJs don't want to kill the vibe, they want to add to it. So they conform, stay on the safe side, and play the kind of rap music that's already accepted within the masses. This creates a couple issues. One of the biggest ones is everybody is essentially afraid. No one wants to introduce anything new because they don't want to do it at the expense of their career. This is actually why I respect rappers when they release something that's different. It may not be amazing or sound amazing at all, but at least it's different. They're breaking the monotony in the genre. The intention behind why they're doing it doesn't really matter. Trust me when I say that. At least it's happening, because so many rappers are out here copying the next man because they don't want to go through the trials and tribulations of finding something that sticks with a lot of people to the point where they get a return in terms of a reward on the time they invested into the music. A lot of rappers, and especially a lot of the young and popular ones, are just going through the motions at this point. Now that's not everyone. There's of course a bunch of young rappers who are killing it out here. As an example, Polo G, Roddy Ricch, Lil TJ. I'm not really demanding complete and utter originality because, nothing under the sun is original. That's not what I personally look for when I try to find new rappers to listen to. All I'm looking for is, number one, some effort. I want to see if this rapper, whoever that is, actually cares about his craft enough to put some effort into what they're releasing. Effort comes in many different ways. It ain't all about the bars, it ain't all about the lyricism, but it can be all about the passion. I'm thinking about Polo G when I say that. It can be all about the melodies. I'm thinking about Roddy Ricch when I say that. So there's a lot of different ways we could measure this effort thing that I'm talking about. The thing is too, there's a lot of amazing rappers in the underground scene of hip-hop who are absolutely killing it, but no one knows about them because the fast food era of hip-hop is a real thing. The radio won't play these underground rappers because, number one, they haven't blown up, which means they haven't proven themselves to be accessible to the average mainstream hip-hop fan. So the radio won't even think twice about putting these kinds of rappers on because they don't want to do it at the expense of their career. Why am I saying that? Well, because the radio makes money from people tuning into their station. What if they play some rap music that doesn't resonate with the majority of the people who listen to their station? Well, what's gonna happen is there's a chance they're gonna lose a portion of their audience if they time after time play rap music that their audience might not like. Don't forget this, but these radio stations are just playing politics. A lot of them get paid to introduce new rappers to the masses because behind the scenes, that's how things get done. The labels are in these radio stations' pockets. They're feeding them the exact kind of music that's gonna get them the money from these corporations. So really, can we even trust them? Absolutely not. Now, I want to name a couple underground rappers who are absolutely killing it right now, but a lot of people don't know about them because the fast food era of hip-hop is in full effect. Number one, Anonymous. This is a rapper who's simply put a beast. Anonymous has been heavily compared to Denzel Curry, and if you've listened to his music, then that definitely makes sense.
Kicking my shit to the stage, driven by women in blades, been in my ways.
This is a rapper who is respected in the underground like no one else, for a reason of course. He's extremely consistent as far as his rapping abilities go, and I think the fact that he's always staying on top of just delivering time after time is what makes him so special. The second rapper I want to give a shout out to is Aaron May. Now Aaron May, a young Texas rapper who's bringing something really fresh, different, and dope to hip hop. He's a star in the making for sure, 100%, and he got my cosign and support forever.
So fuck what you told me if you show me different. Fuck what you showed me if you came up listen.
Aaron May has absolutely been killing it, and it makes me sad that talent like this is getting overlooked because people aren't willing to look for these rappers. Don't expect the radio to play any of these guys, at least until they become bigger and make a name for themselves. Don't even expect any of these big hip-hop media outlets to talk about them because everyone wants to show love when these artists are already getting love. It's honestly kind of backwards, but once again, this simply comes down to the fact that no one wants to take a chance on someone else at the expense of their career and platform. There's one more rapper I want to give a shout out to, and that rapper goes by the name of Sammy Black. Now if you follow me on Instagram, then you know that I've posted this guy on my story multiple times. It is for a reason, of course, because Sammy Black is the rapper you haven't heard about that you need to hear about.
I don't need nobody trying to tell me how to make it, how to stay 100, everybody around me faking.
Someone please tell me how there are rappers this good out here just walking around who've yet to blow up.
Late nights in the hood, I would pray for it.
Said they always used to tell me, boy, just wait for it.
The last thing I want you to do is hear me talking about these rappers and you not even listening to them. Anonymous, Aaron May, and Sammy Black, 3 relatively unknown but amazing, talented, and gifted rappers who are putting out quality music. Are you gonna complain about how there aren't any good rappers out here and ignore these talented rappers? I hope not. Now you may be wondering, why am I even bringing these rappers to the surface in a video about the fast food era of hip-hop? I'm doing that to show you, even if we are in the fast food era of rap right now, it doesn't mean that there aren't great rappers out there for you to find and listen to. The only issue is rappers like this aren't getting any coverage because their music doesn't sound like what usually gets played on the radio. Apart from these 3 rappers that I talked about, there's tons of hip-hop artists who aren't being talked about, and unfortunately some of them will never get the shine they so much deserve, all because in the mainstream world of hip-hop, quality isn't what's being pushed. Of course there is quality out here, and I'm not one of those people who believes that hip-hop is even close to dead, but on the surface quality is a little bit harder to find. That's why you actually have to go out of your way to look for the good stuff. A lot of rappers are focused on releasing something that's gonna get the attention quickly, and longevity is most of the time never the focus. I mean, this is of course something we see with a lot of rappers nowadays. They get on for 2 to 3 years and then suddenly we just stop hearing about them. It's a thing we've seen happen an incredible amount of times, and it's just gonna get more and more common, especially since hip-hop is at its peak popularity right now. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this entire topic. The fast food era of hip-hop is a very real thing. I really don't think you can deny it, but then again, there's a lot of different perspectives we could look at this from. That's why I want to ask you, what do you have to say about this? Do you think that Dr. Dre was right about what he said regarding quantity being more of a thing in hip-hop than quality? Or maybe do you not agree with him? And by the way, do you think this entire fast food era topic is relevant to hip-hop in 2019 like I talked about? Definitely let me know in the comment section below and let's have a discussion about this.